chasing dreams until the dawn, leveling up and the world to follow. With painted heroes shining bright, venturing onward in the endless night. Where the brawn meets the brush, the story's told in this strong imagination mode. With every stroke, the fantasy unfold, these are my soul. Where the brawn meets the brush, the story's told in this strong imagination mode. With every stroke, the fate to fight for peace of my soul.
Hello, YouTube. Welcome one, welcome all to the only place you need to be on a Friday. Oh, I've just realised my thing's hanging down slightly. Let's just correct that, shall we? Let's just sort that out before the show starts. We can't have that dipping down like that. There we go. Welcome one, welcome all to Minis and Muscles. The only place you need to be on a Friday. The place where the brawn meets the brush. The place where we talk geek, the place where we paint miniatures freely, happily, and we talk a load of rubbish together and enjoy a little bit of community geekness. Hello, happy Friday. I hope you're all well. We've already got one JPC in the chat, chatting away, although he's at work today, boo-hoo for the work, but JPC, hopefully, because you're saying nothing's going on at all, you can manage to sneak in a bit of watching of Minis and Muscles. Oh yeah! I've just tried to clean my glasses and inadvertently made them more dirty. How do you manage to even do that? So how are we, peeps? What's going on? Have you had a good week? I hope you have. Hopefully you have. I've had an okay week, not too bad. There we go, I can see a bit better now. Sort my vest out. My vest looks like it's off to one side. Moa Man is in the house with a big pink hand. High five, Moa Man. Hope you're doing well. So, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. I hope you're all cool and I hope you've had a good week. Fingers crossed you've got your fresh water ready. Fingers crossed you've got your wet palette poised and prepared. P&P, poised and prepared and ready for a bit of model painting. So let's catch up. What did we do? Let's just say last week we did a little bit of our miniatures. We did our Sisters of Battle miniatures. We did these two here. We didn't completely finish them, but we got them to a pretty good standard. Let's do this one first. Look, we got them to a pretty good standard. Nothing major, but good. Oh, that needs to go that way. And good enough for the tabletop. And I'll finish those off, probably do a little bit more detail today. We do have 3 others of those, so we'll kind of crack on with those. But I did say that we would paint a new model today, didn't I? Last week, if you remember correctly, I said that we would paint a new model. So I have a couple here ready to talk about, to paint, so we can do that throughout the show. What else are we going to talk about? Well, usually we go through the format of today's show. Today's show is going to be the topic of conversation, should I say, is going to be, what is your favourite TTRPG? I'll repeat that. What is your favourite TTRPG? I feel like I'm on a quiz show. But we're going to go through that today. That's going to be our generalised topic of chat. So I'll sort of take us through a bit of a story through TTRPGs, as usual. But I'd love for you to join in and start to chat about TTRPGs in general. It could be absolutely anything you've ever played in your whole entire life. So we're going to have that as our main topic. Of course, we always have a moment to talk about muscles and fitness. It wouldn't be Minis and Muscles if we didn't do that. So this week it is going to be a little story, actually, about my Ironman experience. So I've previously done Ironman triathlons, and it was just going to be chatting around that, how you could get into it, what you need, and all the rest of that. So that's going to be the muscle moment. And that is, I think, about it. off the top of my head. So let's crack on without further ado. So how are we anyway in the chat? JPC, Moa Man and others. How are we? Are we good? Have you had a good week? Come on, tell me what's been going on. JPC, Moa Man, what's been happening in your world? Moa Man, why are you called Moa Man? I'm very interested. I asked you last week, do you drive mowers like the sit-on ones? I'd really love for that to be the case. Unless you're just obsessed with mowing. Have you seen those, not Facebook, YouTube channels where people go around and mow people's lawns for free and tidy it all up? Maybe you're one of them. But yes, let's crack on and finish a little bit of detail on these two miniatures that we've got. So let's swap over our screens. Let's bring these down. So we've got these two. There we are. So we've got these two to finish off. And there's not a huge amount of detail to be done in these. Sorry, whilst I just move my light a second. Yeah, there's not a huge amount to be done. It's really a little bits of details that I thought I'd just do in the first half hour of the show. So I'm just moving my light slightly just so I can get a bit more light. There we go. There's the limit. Just a bit more light on the miniatures. It's always good to be able to see what you're doing, especially when you're as blind as I am. So JPC, how is work? Hopefully you should have what? Another 1, 2, 3, 4. Another 3 hours, 4 hours left, roughly, of work. Or are you west or are you east coast? Maybe you're east coast. I can't remember. But anyway. Let's crack open a water. It is a water, it's not a beer. It's my good old Liquid Death. Hilarious name for water. Let's get our geek goggles ready. And let's have a look at our two miniatures, shall we? Let's take a look at our Hospitaller to begin with. So she has got eyes. They're a little bit starey. But oh, in the chat, Optimus is saying this week I made an impulse purchase and bought a 3,000 point Beastman army for 100 quid. Was too good to be true. 3,000 points for 100 quid. That's insane. I would have bought that, to be fair, just to sell it on. Just to break up all the units and sell it on. But if you play Age of Sigmar, then yeah. It is Age of Sigmar Beastman, right? I'm pretty sure. Optimus, that is one hell of a deal. I'm jealous. So back to our mini. Whilst I console my sadness, we've got a few little details to do. So we've got like the little lenticular sort of lenses on this aperture, the syringe aperture here. She has got some detail across her chest and things. I'm not going to do the book just yet because my brush is not quite right. It's getting to the end of its life, so I probably need to change my brush, and I just haven't done so. And I need a really good bristle for doing the text. But let's have a look what else we do. Apart from that, oh, we've got the gunshot wounds down here. So that means we need to get some blood and gore and guts out. And we could probably finish off the base and just put some more mud around the edge here. So that's what we'll probably do. Could put a little bit of detail on the birdies as well. Maybe we'll do that. What about the backpack? No, we've done the back. Oh no, there's some little bits on the backpack here that we could fill in. So we'll do those too. Alright, okay, so we pretty much know what we're doing. Not a huge amount. So let's get some paints out. For the base, we will use Technical Mud. So this is a Citadel one. We'll use that for our base. We are going to use, what did I say? We're going to use blue. Like a bright blue. I want like quite a bright blue for that lens. Let's probably go for Calgar blue. That's fairly bright. We'll use that one. Optimus saying, how did your game go last week? Well, Optimus, I must say the sisters were victorious. It was a really tight game. So I was playing sisters and my friend was playing Tyranids. We played literally on the table just behind. Really, really close game. And it got to the point where I think it was turn 2. I thought I'd really badly positioned myself and was going to get wiped. However, with some really good saves and a little bit of cunning, I managed to pull it back and win. So it was all good, and I won by quite a few points as well, so it was really good in the end. I was very happy. For the blood on our sister, I've got these green stuff world. Let's just zoom out slightly. In fact, I could put it up here, look. I've got these. So this is green stuff world, special effects, right? And in here you get these, I can't really see what I'm looking at now, but you get these paints here, right? And there's 2 blood effects on there and a couple of others, like a bile effect, a rust effect, or different types of rust, different types of blood, and vomit and bile. So I'm going to use the blood from here. True blood. There we go. So I'll use that one for the gunshot wounds on our poor sister. JBC said, all right, taking a break already. JBC, good man. If no one's about, nobody's going to complain. Don't worry. It's all right. We will not tell anybody, okay? So we've got True Blood. We've got that one ready, or should I put that way? Look, True Blood. We've got our brown for the base. We've got our blue for the lens. I might use an orange as well. I'm going to use this Fire Dragon Bright for the orange lens. What else did we say? We do need a silver on the back, so we'll use our favourite Lead Belcher. So Lead Belcher silver for the little bits on the backpack. There might be some bits of black we'll need to touch up, so let's grab the Abaddon Black. I think that might be about it. Yeah, let's give that a go. Okay, so let's shake up these paints. And let's get cracking. I'm just having to move a load of stuff because I've got loads of minis out in preparation to choose the next mini. Once we finish this one, we're going to go on to the next mini. I'm not going to painstakingly take you through every single miniature I'm painting in my army, so I wanted to give you guys and girls a good opportunity to chat around what ones you wanted. So we'll allow for finish this, and then we'll get onto that one, the new one, whatever that is, whatever you choose. And we've got quite a selection to choose from as well. Anyway, without me rabbiting on more and sort of taking out of the main chat, the main chat tonight is going to be, what is your favourite TTRPG? I'll repeat that. What is your favourite TTRPG? And I want to just chat about tabletop role-playing games in general. There's loads of them out there, plenty of them about. So I just want to know what you've been playing, what you have played, what you like, what you don't like, what you've seen coming in the future, all of these different things. So that's what we're going to chat about tonight, okay? Although we can chat about anything, really. I don't mind chatting about anything. As long as it's geeky, I don't mind. Talking of geeky, we chatted last week about the original Nintendo and my love for the original Nintendo. I just had the original Double Dragon game arrive. Oh, so good. Right. Let's prepare ourselves. Let's remove that out the way and stick that up there. There we go. Let's get our paintbrush ready. There's one. And there's two. Right, let's crack on. So we're going to do the blue, aren't we? We're going to do those lenses. So let's get our Calgar blue. We don't need a huge amount of this. But we'll just stick a little bit into our wet palette. There we go. Let's put that to the side. And we'll also get the orange out. So this is our Fire Dragon Bright. And stick a bit of that in our wet palette. Is anyone else painting minis tonight, by the way? Anyone else got a mini on the go? Be lovely to hear what you've got. Never played a TTRPG. Not enough mates. LOL. Oh, Optimus. Rubbish. You have all of us here on Minis-N-Muscles. We are friends. Don't you worry about that. Let's get the old geek glasses out, shall we? So you've never played a TTRPG. That surprises me, given your love for Warhammer. You know, Warhammer is... Okay, it's not a tabletop role-playing game, but it is certainly a tabletop game. And the TTRPGs just add an extra element in, which makes it quite fun. But I want to hear more about this Beastman army as well. That sounds like an absolute bargain for £100. Right, there we go. Just putting a little bit of orange there on that lens. Let's get the blue on there on the other one. So this shouldn't take too long, really, this one. It should be pretty simple. Let's just turn it that way. In fact, that way. It's probably better that way, right? Yeah. In fact, it's not the best angle to paint that way. Right, there we go. We've got our two colours on. We've got a blue. There we go, blue and an orange. That will look alrighty. Okay. That's good. Happy with that. I will be painting when it's evening here. Oh, JPC, what are you going to paint, bro? What have you got on the dock? What have you got ready to go? Oh, God, we need to get some Abaddon Black out, don't we? Stick that in our wet palette to tidy up any things that we spot. So I've already spotted one thing on here. Alright, let's just fill this little bit here. Yeah, so tabletop role-playing games. Let's start with the most obvious. Dungeons and Dragons. Oh yeah. The most popular tabletop role-playing game by quite a distance, I would have said. I don't know of any other game that has the same reach, the same popularity as D&D. Probably D&D's been going the longest. It's probably the grandfather, really, of tabletop role-playing games, published in 1974. So even before I was born. So it's been going a long old time. And it's super successful. It's loved by so many people. I mean, maybe the latest version, which is 1 D&D, is not loved by many, but the majority of people really do resonate with D&D as a whole. Whether people are still playing some of the original versions, or whether they've sort of gone through to the more later versions, it's still super popular. It has a huge variety of choice. That's why I quite like D&D. It's set in the standard kind of fantasy setting, and it also has some extras as well. So it also has some extra settings that you can use, but it's your typical dwarves, elves, you know, humans, orcs, goblins, that kind of thing. So it will appeal to those that like things like Lord of the Rings, or, you know, Princess Bride and have watched old school stuff like that. Labyrinth, you know, if you like Labyrinth, the chances are you'll probably like to play D&D. It's that kind of a game. Now, although there are similar games, and we'll go through those shortly, D&D seems to be the most popular. Oh, sorry, just off camera there. What we've got sitting in here? Sorry, just missing the chat here. JPC saying, by the way, that is not an impulse purchase. That is being smart and lucky. Oh, you're talking about Optimus's purchase of Beastmen. Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a great purchase, 100 quid. Lava bases. Oh, you're doing lava bases tonight, JPC. They're pretty rudimentary. Big fan of Vampire the Masquerade. Yeah. Big even. Painting... oh, sorry, my head's in the way. Painting 29 Elf Sword Masters. Quite tedious. Yeah, I have a lot of the VTM cards. Haven't played much. So yeah, so when you get into painting like big batches, it doesn't matter, even for me, if I'm painting 10 Battle Sisters, all the same model, I get quite, not vexed, but I get quite frustrated, to say the least, when I'm painting a big batch. So 29 miniatures, all the same. I can see your frustration there, dude. It's not, that's not an easy task. So my advice would be, when you're doing that, just split it up. Get yourself something completely different. So if you're painting, and that's fantasy minis, if you're painting fantasy minis, go grab yourself like something crazy, like a Space Marine Dreadnought or something. Something really off the books. And just paint that as your sidetrack. So whenever you want a bit of a break, just paint something completely random. That's kind of the method I do, and that's why I've got so many minis just sat here next to my painting table, ready to go, because sometimes I just need that difference. I need something different just to break up the same old boring black, white and red kind of Sisters of Battle that I often paint. You know, and it's good to have difference, right? Sometimes it's bloody boring doing the same old crap all the time. So yeah, I completely get you. 29, that would break me, I think. So I would have to change. Right, that's that and that. Got a little bit of silver on this bit of paper as well, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to correct that. Right, that's that. Good, good. Okay, rattling through this one. So, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do, just cover up. If you notice, just here, I got a little bit of silver on the parchment, so I'm just going to have to cover that up quick. What made you choose Sisters? I just really liked the models. They're different, right? So the majority of armies, oh bugger, that's the wrong bloody colour. The majority of armies are all sort of big and brash and in your face, and Sisters aren't. I liked the paint scheme. I liked their different tanks. I just thought they were slightly different, and you don't see lots of people playing them, or I certainly haven't, so it was kind of like a difference thing. I didn't want to be the same as everyone else and have the same army. You know, Space Marines are super cool, and I do have some Space Marines, but having something different is just nice. So yeah, that was the reason really. Rule of cool. I just liked what they looked like and thought, ah, sod it, I'll just go with these. They look cool. Didn't quite realise, you know, what models to buy at first, so I bought off of Rule of Cool again, and I just bought loads of random models that I thought looked nice, and actually when I came to put an army together with the ones I'd painted, they were useless because I'd bought all the wrong models. Or not the wrong models, but models that don't work well together. So yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare. Then I had to go back and paint a load more. I got a buddy of mine to help me paint as well, just to get some models finished so I could start playing. So yeah, so that was a bit of a nightmare, but really enjoyed Sisters actually. They are a cool army. They've got lots of cool rules. Sometimes the rules do get a little bit much, so I've got, as you guys will well know, I have a terrible memory for stuff, and I do forget a lot of the rules because they're not rule heavy, I guess, because there are some armies that have more rules, but with Sisters, they very much rely on buffs from different characters. I'd say very rarely would you find someone running a Sisters army with a squad that doesn't have a character in that squad that has these extra abilities. Because Sisters are really weak on the battlefield as a whole. Let's just take these off. They're a pretty weak army. They get smashed around very, very easily, and you have to play to the strengths. Oh, sorry, I'm painting off camera. You have to play to the strengths of the stratagems and the buffs. They're really, really important for Sisters. And if you can't remember them like me, you end up sort of going, you know, a couple of turns in going, oh my god, I've just forgotten this rule, I've forgotten that rule. You know, where you could have made some ground. But they're fun to play. There's quite a variety of different looking models as well. So if you take Necrons, for example, they all look very similar. The Space Marines, again, all look pretty similar. But I thought Sisters looked quite different. Even between the different types of squads. You know, a Battle Sister squad is very different looking to a Seraphim squad. Okay, the armour's the same, but the fact that they're flying models and not flying models. And then because of all the characters, I love painting single characters, so that was really the reason. That was what got me into Sisters. I bet it was a cute woman in armour. Yes, because they're all hot chicks in armour. Exactly why. Not quite exactly why, but yeah, I know what you mean. I get what you mean. Yeah, and it's different, isn't it, having an all-female army? That's quite cool. Not that I'm a hairy feminist. It's just that it's nice to be different, and having a full female army is very different. So you know it works. Right, now time for the blood. So we don't want to put this into our wet palette. I've got the lid of my wet palette here. I'm just going to drop some of this into there. There we go. Hopefully we can dab a load of this on the wound areas and it will look half decent. Oh, might need me glasses for this one. Get them geek specs on. Yeah, so back to our general chat, so I kind of got side-swiped there and I started talking about Sisters of Battle. You know, let's go back to our TTRPG chat. Am I happy with that? Yeah, it looks okay. That looks alright. Yeah, so we were talking about the granddaddy of TTRPGs, which is Dungeons and Dragons. That is sort of the TTRPG, really. So many people play it. It has loads of different editions. It's evolved over time, and it's loved by many, many people for lots of very good reasons. Here we go. Just a little bit of blood on her. That should be enough, right? I don't want to put too much blood in there. By the way, if you're wondering what this is, it's True Blood by Green Stuff World. I think that should be enough. I don't want to overdo it. Maybe take a little bit of puddle down here. So it looks like, I don't know if you can see that. Let's just move it that way. There you go. Can you see that? So you've got the sort of wound on her chest, and it's sort of just going down the side, and it's pooling down here. That's what I'm trying to make it look like anyway. There we go. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Sorry, I always get confused with where the camera sees it. There we go. Yeah, so D&D, very, very cool. I think one of the big things that really affected D&D recently is, well, I say recently, in the past 8 years or so, is Critical Role. Critical Role is a narrative live stream of Dungeons and Dragons done by some voice actors. If you haven't watched it and you're a geek, it's worth watching. It's really, really good. Some people love it, some people hate it. But it is really, really cool. It's a story that you can follow. The actors talk around this, what's happening in the game. They're very, very cool. Very, very good actors. And they kind of bring to life D&D. And it's awesome. That kind of got me into it even more, actually, to be fair. I really liked that. Critical Role seasons, I thought they were very good. Some of the later ones not so much, but the first one especially. Right, I'm going to put some grass onto, or some kind of flowers onto here, because it's looking like very muddy, isn't it? And I've got a little tuft of grass there and a little tuft of grass around here. But I thought I'd just stick in a tiny little tuft of flowers. I thought that was quite cool, given she's croaked it and she's copped it. I thought I'd stick some flowers in there for her. There we go. And these flowers, by the way, oh, that's not sticking very well. These flowers are from Army Painter. So they're from Army Painter. You get a whole sheet of them like this. And you can just pick them off and just put them onto your models. Don't squidge them like I have, because I've just screwed it up. God damn it. But yeah, they're pretty cool. They're just nice and decorative to put onto a model, just to change the look of it a little bit. I've just really messed this one up. Oh dear. Oh, I don't know, actually, that looks half decent. That's just a bit of colour to the base, right? So that's all it is. There you go, with the two sort of bright flower patches, left and right. Yeah, so Dungeons & Dragons, Critical Role, well worth watching. There's other ones as well, so there's things like a UK version, because the Critical Role is American. You've got a UK version of a live stream D&D game, which is called Roll Britannia. Very, very cool. There's I've met the Roll Britannia guys, very nice people. But yeah, but ultimately, it's a very cool way to play a tabletop role-playing game. Right, let's just pause here. Let's just swap the camera over to this one and just bring her in. There we go, and you can see the pool of blood down there. You've got the flowers, got the cool looking syringe, got the backpack all done. Only things I haven't done until I swap over my paintbrushes is the script on the parchment, which I will do once I change my brushes over. I just haven't done that yet. Cool. Okay. So that one's done. We'll just pause the general conversation so that we can vote for a new model to paint. Right, what have I got? I hear you cry. Well, I've got loads of stuff sat here. From small stuff to big stuff. So let's start with small stuff. Okay, we've got this guy. A Space Marine Terminator librarian. So he's pretty cool. He's got a massive axe. He's got lots of cool detail on him. So he'd look really, really good. So I've got him. Okay. So that's number one. I've got a box of more Sisters of Battle. Celestian Sacrosantes. So I've got a box of those we can paint. I've got this guy. A Space Marine Dreadnought. Big old beast. He needs to be finished. He's like obviously started to be painted, but you know, he needs to be finished. And then I've got two more boxes here. These are a bit bigger though. So I've got this. A huge Space Marine gunship. So I've got this. This is pretty cool. It's massive. So it will take... Well, it's not massive, but it is fairly big, right? So that'll take a fair bit of putting together and assembling. I've also got this one. The Triumph of St. Catherine. It looks like a diorama, and it kind of is. So I'll just show you the back piece as well. It's got lots of Sisters of Battle all gathered round a cask. In the cask is the St. Catherine, and it's a playable model as well. So I've got those that are kind of options. I thought I'd go with Warhammer because the last thing that we built really on the channel was the D&D diorama. So I thought, right, okay, let's switch over to Warhammer. So we got these then. So what we're going for, guys and girls, this is what we got. Let's bring him up there, and let's bring... can I reach him? Got him. Him there. Right. Okay, so I might have to bring him forward. We've got the Terminator. The Dreadnought. We've got this little librarian Terminator there. So we've got loads of stuff. What should we build? Which one? I need to know from you guys, okay? Need to know what we're going to start. Which set? Dreadnought, Terminator, Sacrosantes, Gunship, or St. Catherine or Gunship. it's down to you guys. So let me know what you want and we will start to put together and paint. That's what we're going to do. So come on, start getting your votes in. Get your votes in, people. I want to see those votes. And we will start to paint. I mean, they're all pretty cool models. Although they're not rated very highly, I would like to use the Sacrosants in my Sisters of Battle army, so that'll be quite cool. So I'd like to get them done just to give them a whirl and see how they work. This is a lot of points to play in a Sisters of Battle army, but it is a really cool model. It has so much depth to it because there's so many little pieces. Like if I bring it back to the camera, let's just move it there. There you go. Right, see all those little bits and bobs you've got? There's loads in that mini. Absolutely awesome. It's such a cool mini. Ah, I've just lost one. Man down. These ones obviously is just five sisters. Not a huge amount. Fairly easy. So we've got those. We've got the Terminator Librarian here. So he needs finishing and detailing. We've got the Dreadnought. So there he is there, the Dreadnought. The big old Gatling type gun. He needs finishing. And then we've got the gunship, which is pretty beastie. So, what do we think, guys? We need a couple of votes in. What do we reckon? Can I do a poll in here? I've never tried, but I don't know if there's an option. Let's see. Let's see if there's an option for a poll, shall we? Add. Engage with your... Ah, look at that. There we go. Here we go. What should we paint next? Question mark. Add option. Dreadnought. This should be Librarian. Librarian in Terminator armor. Excuse my spelling if I get something wrong. Gunship. What else? Add option. Sacrosants squad. Oh no, you can only have 4 options. Oh, that's a bit rubbish. Okay, well, we've only got 4 options then. There we go. Oh, I can't even see the thingy. Optimus D is saying, would say Triumph, but that would take you ages to build. Go for the Sacrosants, seeing as you want to try them. See if that poll... Did that poll work? I'm not even sure if that poll worked, you know. Because I can't even see it in the chat. Which is a bit rubbish. How do I see that? I've never done a poll before, guys, so apologies. Don't know. I don't know, I can't see it. Can you see the poll? So, yeah, I'm just going to chat around TTRPGs whilst we see if that poll actually works. So if you can see in the chat a poll, please do vote in the poll and see what models you want me to paint next. We've got a couple in there. We've got the Dreadnought, he needs finishing. We've got the Librarian Terminator, he needs finishing. We've got a squad of Sacrosants, they need doing. Oh, okay. I can see the poll, it's just popped up. Ah, there you go, yeah. We've got St. Catherine, she's not on the poll though, unfortunately. On Gunship, I can only put 4 options in, which is rather weird. Oh, okay, Sacrosants are winning so far. Let's leave that going for a second whilst we chat about bits and bobs. In fact, I might as well paint something whilst I'm here, right? Let's get some gold out. Let's mix some gold up. So, seeing as there's a model right in front of me, I'm just going to start on the Terminator just because it's sat there, right? Just so we've got something going. here we are. Here's our little Terminator guy. This doesn't mean that we have to stick with the Terminator, by the way. It's just, you know, it's just why not, really, because he's in front of me. I'm just trying to find the paint scheme for him. I need librarian, don't I? That's what I need. Librarian in Terminator armor. Ah, there's the picture. That's what I was looking for. Split screen it with that. And let's choose one of these pictures to bring it up. Oh, damn it. Ah, that's alright. Oh, he doesn't really have much gold on him, actually, ironically. There isn't much gold on him at all. There's my big fat head in the way. Apologies. I mean, this is gold, but there's not actually a lot of gold on this guy. I thought there was more. Because the Space Marines that you paint have a fair amount of gold knocking around the armour trim and things like that. So I thought he would be the similar, but he's not. Seems to have like a jazzy effect that sort of goes around the edge of his armour, which we're going to try and replicate. But this doesn't have to be the model, by the way, guys. I'm just literally painting this because it's in front of me. So it doesn't have to be the model that we paint next. It's just that I picked him up, thought, oh, sod it. He's there, I'll just paint him whilst we're waiting for the pole. So yeah, so don't stick your answers on a postcard and send them in. Stick your answers on the pole and send it in. We'll fill that with gold. We don't want the blue coming through there. Oh god, sorry, head's in the way. There we go. A little bit of gold there. We've got a bit of gold here as well. So there we go. So what other TTRPGs are there out there that you can try? That's our main conversational topic this evening. Well, we talked about Dungeons and Dragons, the granddaddy of TTRPGs, but what about something that's slightly different? What about Call of Cthulhu? What's Call of Cthulhu, I hear you cry? Well, I shall tell you. So Call of Cthulhu is more like a horror-based TTRPG, and it is slightly more narrative than Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons can be very sort of dice rolling, outcome driven by dice heavy kind of game. Call of Cthulhu seems to be a lot more narrative based. So it was inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft, if you know the author H.P. Lovecraft. And it's sort of about weird, creepy kind of horror. Not in a D&D world as such. It is a fantasy type world, but it's not fantasy, just elves and dwarves and that kind of fantasy. It's more like what's that program I watched on Amazon not so long ago? Fairy Island or something. I can't remember. But yeah, very good TTRPG. It's more about investigation and sort of narrative rather than it being purely focused on combat and loot, but it's very, very cool. What we got in the thingy in the chat? We got Optimus is saying, "What's your most annoying technique to paint?" Mine is NMM. Can never get it right. NMM. Remind me what that is, mate. I forget everything every 2 seconds, buddy. So apologies. yeah, so back to Call of Cthulhu whilst I wait for Optimus to reply. Oh, we've got a few more votes in. Oh, it's tied at the moment between the Gunship and the Sacrosanct squad. Alrighty, we need a tiebreaker, so we need someone to jump in there and vote. So if you're watching, I can see there's a few people out there watching. If you're watching and you haven't voted as of yet, stick a little vote in. Why not? It won't kill you. Let's just paint this guy up, this little skull. That's quite cool. Yeah, so Call of Cthulhu is horror based, a lot more narrative driven, more about investigation than it is about, you know, combat. And don't get me wrong, there are some D&D games that are more based around that, but Call of Cthulhu is primarily that. With sort of big, sort of scary, horrible monsters lurking in the dark. It's a D100 system, and it's got skill-based mechanics, and it sort of helps you create that tension and that sort of atmosphere as you're playing the game. Atmosphere, talking of atmosphere, did anyone remember Atmosphere? The board game? It came out many moons ago, and you had to put a videotape into your VCR machine. Anyone remember that? Atmosphere? I remember playing that. I remember playing it with my cousins, and one of my cousins absolutely crapping himself watching that. Brilliant. Pure brilliance. So Gav, if you're watching this, I remember you crapping yourself to that scary ghost bloke on Atmosphere, the board game. I remember. Just painting this little bit of flexi tube that's on the front of this Terminator. Non-metallic metal. Ah, okay, got you. Right, sorry. Apologies. Yeah, so non-metallic metal's built up from layers. So that's what Optimus is talking about. So he's talking about people, rather than opting for a metallic paint, which I'm doing right now, actually, they, instead of, like, say, that gold that I've just painted, they will use a mixture of different colours layered upon themselves to create the same effect. If I'm honest, I'm a bit like you. It's sometimes a bit hit and miss. And because of that, and I do like consistency, so I just usually roll with a actual metallic paint, if I'm honest. Because, well, what's the point of mixing up a colour and using that to then having to remix it again when you need it, and to get the right mix and all of that, and faffing around, when you can just go to the pot and take it out the pot and just use that? That's far more easier, right? So just, to me, I'm all about saving time and making things easier for yourself. And if I'm honest, non-metallic metal painting, I just don't see the point, personally. But that's just a personal opinion, man. Don't let me put you off. I just think it's not for me. Not for me, unfortunately. Let's just stick that down there. Just needed a bit more silver. Talking of metallics, needed a little bit more silver. Just as we put a little bit of silver onto these pipes that are on the Terminator's armour. So our current vote, so what we're trying to vote for is the next model that we're going to paint on the show. So we just finished our D&D diorama, and as a sort of infill, we did a little bit of painting of Sisters of Battle, right? Just because I had some on the side. But I thought, well, I don't want to subject you to I don't want to subject you to me painting Sisters of Battle all the time. So it'd be really good if we could, you know, paint something else. It'd be a bit more interesting, right? So I thought, okay, well, let's dig a few models out. So I've grabbed a few out. So we've got this Terminator that I'm actually painting now. We could paint him and finish him off. We've got a Dreadnought, this guy here. So let's just bring him in. We've got this Dreadnought. This big robot machine. We've got a gunship, so a big flying machine. We've got that to paint. We've got a squad of Sisters of Battle's Celestian Sacrosancts. We've got those we can paint. So there is a lot of options here. We've also got the Triumph of St. Catherine, which is a really big Sisters of Battle model. Built up of lots of miniatures. And it's a big sort of almost like a diorama piece, really. But very, very cool. So I just want to know from you guys what we should paint. So I've stuck a poll out there, so please do, if you've just joined in on the chat, make sure you jump in on that poll, vote for which one we should paint next, and we'll paint that over the next few episodes that we do on our live. There we go, just getting a little bit of silver. Just see, trouble is I get paint on my fingers and then I put my fingers all over the model. Oh dear. Never mind. Right, that, and that. Alrighty, those little bits done. What about his blade? So what I wonder, if I add a little bit of water to that. So I want a bit of a thinner silver. Not really thin, but we'll go with it. What I was hoping for is a thinner silver, so the blue kind of crept through, but that's fine. That's alright. We'll just add a bit there. What I quite like about this model actually is it's got a lot of detail on it, and it's quite well printed. So when you come to paint it, it flows quite nicely, rather than getting stuck on bits or bits being really inaccessible. It's pretty easy. You've got to give it to Games Workshop when they do a model. They tend to print pretty high quality. I've not really had a moment where I've been like, oh, this model sucks and it's really badly printed. Actually, I have. A lie. So Games Workshop used to print models and call them fine cast. I always thought they were a bit of a bitch to paint. Also a bit of a bitch to put together, to be fair. But that was me. How's that looking? It's a bit runny that side. Got any extra votes in? Oh, we got another vote in. Someone's voting for the Dreadnought. Okay. Sorry, my big fat head was in the way. JPC's voted Gunship, your last. Your last tank was crazy with the stained glass. Oh, thanks. Yeah, there'll be no... I don't... Well, the Gunship doesn't come with stained glass, unfortunately. But that was a pretty cool model, right? I really enjoyed painting that. That was a good model. That was my custom tank. So if you've not seen that and the painting on that one, go back a few videos and you will see the custom tank. I painted a custom built emulator, converted from a Rhino tank, and it looked absolutely epic. As JPC's rightly pointed out, it looked bloody good, sir, didn't it? There we go. So what else then? We talked about D&D, we talked about Call of Cthulhu, that kind of horror version. What about, well, seeing as we're painting Warhammer, what about Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game? So for you, oh God, I've forgotten your name. Optimus. Jesus. Optimus, for you, Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game. That would be ideal, right? You love the fantasy Warhammer game itself, the tabletop game. Well, what about the tabletop role-playing game in the same world? So that would be very cool for you. Who have we got else coming in on chat? We've got hello Steve's head, Adrian. Yeah, sorry mate. I do it all the time, don't I? Very big apologies, buddy. How are you, Adrian? You doing well? Hope you're keeping all right. How's work? Hopefully not too taxing. Yes, there's Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game. That is, it's a different system, so it's not a D&D related system. It does have its own rules and regulations. But it's sort of a slightly, it's not grimdark D&D, but it is slightly grimdark D&D, if that makes sense. So it's quite a good fantasy role-playing game. It's been out for quite some time. Can't remember when it was released actually. I don't think I put any notes in here. No. Yeah, so it does have what's quite cool and unique about Warhammer Fantasy. It has like a career stat block thing that you follow. So you can sort of start your life as a rat catcher, and you can follow it all the way through until, you know, you're the town hero type thing. So it's quite a nice way to play. So that is a good little TTRPG if you're interested and you like the Warhammer world and the lore and things like that. Take a look at Warhammer Fantasy. Well worth it. There you go. See the little shine on the old axe there. It's quite cool. JPC, guess you need to learn LED lights now. Yeah, I know. I do need to learn LED lights. That would be really cool, actually, to be fair. Yeah. Pushing the boundaries there, JPC. I like it. Adrian saying, if you're doing a Smurf librarian, please do a brighter, non-ultramarine blue. Well, I would, Adrian, but the what's it called that I have, the Space Marine army that I have is ultramarines. So it is going to kind of be this blue. I'm going to put some sort of lighter colours, colorations around the runes and stuff that are across his armour. But it is going to be this kind of darky kind of blue, because that is what my army is. So yeah, sorry dude. Sorry to disappoint. But it is going to be that, unfortunately. What was I going to do here? Let's just check on the votes. What we got? Oh, hang about. Gunship's got 50% of the votes. Dreadnought's got 25%. Sacrosankt's have got 25%. Ooh. Okay, so the gunship is leading. Crikey, you guys are going for it. All right, so let's park the librarian. All right, let's put him to one side. Let's move him over there. Let's move this dreadnought out of the way as well. Let's just switch the camera for a sec, and let's find the gunship box. All right, Badoof. This is a huge box. Let's end the poll. There we go. So the votes came in, and the votes were for the gunship. Adrian, before you ask, it's going to be ultramarine. It's going to be ultramarine blue, because my army is ultramarines. I chose Ultramarines army for my Space Marines purely because they have loads of characters. Much like the Sisters of Battle and why I chose to paint Sisters of Battle, they have lots of characters. Ultramarines also have the most characters out of all of the Space Marine different not regiments, but you know what I mean. So yes, that's why I chose Ultramarines. So here we go. God, let's open this up. Let's see what we got. Oh. Ugh. Okie doke. So, I always like to keep the box nearby because I like the reference picture. So there's our reference picture. I will stick that there. We've got a big fat instruction manual. We've got that. Let's move these glasses out of the way because we won't need glasses for this because we'll be not painting, but we'll be building. Oh, we've got the fly stand. There we go. So there you go. You've got some votes in there. You can see what was voted for. We've got the fly stand. We've got the windows for the top and the bottom. What's the cockpit? There you go. Jeez. Does anyone else have this problem, or is it just me, where words fall out of your head and you can't get them out? Right. As always, as you know, these should normally come grey, right? But because it's me, as soon as I get a box, I open it, I spray it black. And I spray them all black, and I stick it back in the box until I'm ready to paint. What is that? Oh, there's a leaf from where I sprayed it. There we go. So we've got all the parts. We've got the base. There's the base. We've got some transfers. Let's stick that out there. Oh, Adrian's saying librarians are blue, so what would make it stand out from your army? Got you. Completely got you. Okay. So, to answer that question, Adrian, on the Terminator himself, on the librarian Terminator, wherever I put him, which is here, there you go. So, I am going to give him some different colours. I was going to give him some bright colours across certain areas, not the whole entirety of him. But yeah, maybe like on the leg pads, maybe on the shoulder pads, things like that. That was going to give him a little bit of a standout colour. That's how I was going to tell him apart. And he does look very different with a big axe as well. Right, where the hell do we start with this? Oh, okay. These are really cool parts there. Super cool, super detailed. Very nice. We've got loads of different bits and bobs here. Alright, let's best open up the instruction manual and get crack-a-lacking. Oh, so you guys are pushing the boundaries of the live stream. Here we go. Let's just move this out of the way. Let's close up our paint pot because we don't need that. There we go. Let's just put this round our wet palette. Because we don't need that now, do we? Move that over there. And then get out some cutters. Hobby knife. I need my little hobby knife. There's that. So I've got cutters and a hobby knife. I will possibly need a file as well. Ah, there. So I've got a file as well. There we go. So they're probably the three things that I will use for this build. There might be one or two other bits, but generally speaking, you don't need a lot to build. Okay. We've got three options here, guys. We have got las cannons, Gatling, or plasma. So there are three options here. So we've got las cannons, Gatling, and we've got plasma this side. So are they plasma or are they melter? I'm not sure. But there are three options. Any ideas what we should go for? Any choice? Okay. So whilst I take a look at this and get ready to start cutting things apart, let's head back to our topic of conversation. And our topic of conversation was tabletop role-playing games. Adrian, you should be well involved in this. What's your favourite tabletop role-playing game? And why? But we were just sort of listing through different tabletop role-playing games, and we talked about D&D, we talked about Call of Cthulhu, and we also talked about Warhammer Fantasy. Alright, let's just swap over cameras so you can see what I'm doing. Let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. Okay. So you can kind of see what I'm doing now, right? Hopefully. Gatling for more Dakar. Oh, alright, Adrian. We'll do the Gatling. And it looks cooler, to be fair, I think, the Gatling. Las cannons always look naff. So I agree. Let's go Gatling. So let's cut this out. Yeah, so we're talking about lots of different tabletop role-playing games, just to sort of have a topic of discussion. Some of you said you've never played before, and I advise you should, because it's bloody brilliant. Always give something a bash, and tabletop role-playing games are really, really fun. I've played a fair few now over the past 5 years. I've been playing, not too long. 5 years? No, 3 years. So I've only been playing tabletop role-playing games for 3 years. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love them. They're really fun, and they're a lot of laughs. You can sit there with your mates. You can have a good time and chat and chill. Also have moments of drama, obviously in-game, not with your mates. And it's really good crack. What I'm doing now, just in case you guys are wondering, is I'm just running my blade along the edge of some of these joins where I've cut it off of the sprue, just to smooth it out. Sometimes I do forget to do this, so please do remind me if I forget. And you see I am scraping a little bit of paint off, but it doesn't matter. It's absolutely fine, because we will cover that, don't you worry. So that's part 15. That's the first part that's telling us to take off. We need to find part 5 and 63. So all of Warhammer kits come like this. They're very, very good. They're very simplistic to follow. And they're pretty easy. Everything is numbered. You've just got to find the right sheet with the right numbers on. So I don't know whether you can see on here, but in fact, I don't think you can see it unless we zoom right in. There you go. So you can see some of the numbers on here. So like 77, for example, 5, 23. Everything is labelled and numbered so that you can find things easy. But one thing, it's not like labelled like here, look, 6 and then 94. How does 6 go to next to 94? Why do they do that? Is it just to make it more of a bloody puzzle to find? I swear Games Workshop do it just to wind people up. So we're looking for 63 and 5. God knows where they are. 63 and 5. If you guys could help, that would be great. Anyone shout out? Oh man, 63 and 5. Right, 6 is there. No, that's 9. 5. Oh, there you go. If there's 5, there's part 5. Right, okay, so we've got that. Okay, so let's put that down there. 63. 63. It looks like a big round thing. 63. Where the hell is that? It's not one of these, is it? 82, 81, 39, 36. No, it's none of them. It's not one of them. Where is it then? 63. It looks like this, but God knows what that is. Ah. Why do they make it so confusing? Yeah, so tabletop role-playing games. Let's get back to that conversation. What is it? A Storm Eagle? Cut away from yourself. Cut away from yourself. Oh no! Shut up, Adrian. Cut away from yourself. Crikey. I'm controlled enough to be able to use my knife. Don't worry. But yeah, this is a Storm Raven gunship. Not a Storm Eagle, Storm Raven. So Storm Eagle, I think, is a slightly smaller one. I still can't find this part 63, you know. Ah, found it. Right, okay. There we go. Cut that out, cut that out. Bump. Right, 63. 63. Look, I'm going to go towards myself now. Ah. Right, let's just shave that off. There we go. Shave this side off. Yeah, so what other TTRPGs are there? Well, there's one that kind of span out from the back of Dungeons and Dragons, and that was Pathfinder. So Pathfinder was a spin-off from D&D version 3.5, and it sort of broke off and started to make their own game. It's okay. I've played it. I'm not a massive fan of the system. I think it's slightly crunchy, and by crunchy I mean the mechanics aren't particularly fast flowing or smooth. It feels like very clunky to play. It doesn't feel very streamlined to play. I don't know, but that's just my personal opinion on it, so don't take my opinion. It's the same as D&D, where it takes d20s, and and your character has those same kind of stat blocks. It's almost identical in terms of spells and things like that, but they're just named something slightly different. They do have various different Pathfinder editions as well, just like Dungeons and Dragons has different editions. So it's worth having a little explore and seeing what's out there. But that is an option for you. It's the same kind of fantasy type setting. So it's the same fantasy setting with that, orcs, dwarves, goblins, that kind of jazz, which is absolutely fine. But it doesn't provide anything different, I think, is the best way to describe it. Goes there then. So it's saying that goes there, but it should be that way around. I reckon that's the wrong piece. It's not 5. I've noticed this actually. I had a set the other day that I built, and here, look, I'll zoom in here just so you can see. Right, this one here, part 5. That's what I cut out. That's what it's told me to take. But actually, it's the opposite way. It's the opposite way round. See this little piece? It's the opposite way round to what it should be. So I've got to now find the other one. Ah, dear. Not always quite perfect. These Games Workshops little instructions. I found it the other day when I was putting together a model, and it was exactly the same. It had something listed as 36, but it was actually 56 in the box, and that was a brand new set that was released the other day. Oh dear. If you're getting stuck following numbers for a symbol, just stick it together how your inner orc mech boy would do it. That's right. Let's just stick it together like any mech boy would do. Just throw it all together. Right, here's number 6. This is what I want over here. Right, hopefully. Yeah, see, now that is the right piece. How silly. If I zoom out just slightly. There you go. So you'll see the instructions. So here, right, that's that little piece. That's this piece I've got in my finger. That's the right orientation. The piece they were telling me to take is the opposite orientation. God damn it, Games Workshop. Pull your stuff together. We pay you plenty of pennies for these, and you can't seem to get something sorted. So it's so simple. There's one thing I would say for Games Workshop, actually, that one thing they do not very well is this kind of thing, and they don't do rule writing very well. I don't know if anyone else here has played Warhammer, but Christ alive, the rules. Jeez, I don't know who writes them. They're not very easy to follow sometimes. They're really not. Right, okay, so we've got that there, we've got that there. So that needs to be stuck in there. So we need some glue. I put the glue away as well, thinking we wouldn't use it. Where is it? Here we are. Yeah, so Pathfinder, it's another D&D variant, and a lot of people transitioned over to Pathfinder when when Hasbro, the owners of D&D, started to go through this new version of 1D&D, and they started to say to people that they were going to stop people creating their own content and allowing people to create their own content from the what's it called? That not open source, but it's the rule set that allows people to basically use the D&D rules to write their own books, and they were going to stop people doing that, which is not very nice, right? So there was a lot of kickback, and they then changed that and they went back on it. But during that time, oddly enough, a lot of people did go through and purchase Paizo's Pathfinder. So it did become very, very popular. All right, next step, 6 and 55. So we're looking for 6 and 55. Let's have a look here. 6 and 55. Oh no, 60 and 55, sorry. 60 and 55. Yeah. Okay, probably on this sheet. There's 55. There we go, there's that one. 55 and 60. That's that one there. Okay. Cool. Let's just cut that one out. So what else did I put in here? Shadowrun. Now, I only found out about Shadowrun as a tabletop role-playing game the other day through Tactical Advance to Game, one of the, which is a charity, well, a subsection of Game Therapy UK, which is a charity, and Tactical Advance to Game do therapeutic gaming, tabletop role-playing games, that is, for veterans and serving personnel. And they were talking about, someone on there was talking about running Shadowrun, and I found out about it. I was like, oh, that looks really cool. So I haven't played it yet, but I've done a little bit of reading about it, and it looks pretty epic. So it's sort of a cyberpunky kind of meets fantasy, magic and guns type, technology type thing collide. And it sounds pretty cool. I really like the sound of it. And when someone was saying, oh, they might run a game, I was like, oh, yeah, I'd love to play. But this looks pretty cool. It has unique character roles that you can... roles, as in the role of your character, not rolls as in rolling a dice. Unique character roles that you can sort of choose for your character. But that's similar to most others. But you don't find, you know, drone hacker or riggers, or you don't have samurai or shamans or deckers and things like that in other games. This one seems to have some really random roles, which I quite like. It has a dice pool system versus D&D's D20 system, so that's also quite cool, having a new sort of dice mechanic. So rather than just relying on a roll of a D20 and adding a modifier, you know, it's a slightly different approach to find your outcome for whatever you're trying to do. So I quite liked that. That looked cool. And just the sort of background story of it sounded pretty sweet. So I am tempted to play that game, very much so. So I shall look into playing Shadowrun for sure. Let's just get some glue on here. Just go around the edges. Just around the bottom as well. I just normally throw loads of glue on. I'm not too graceful with my glue. I just throw it in everywhere. Right, so that's stuck in, and then that goes above it, apparently. Alright, goes up there. Cool. So that all back needs a lot of glue on, blah, 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 blah. Glue, 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 glue. Don't be shy when you put any glue on. You don't need to be smart. Just throw it on there. So the last thing you want is a bloody thing to fall off. Right, there we go. So we've got a little movable motor, which is quite cool. Oh God, I've just pushed it out. There we go. Movable motor, and we've got the inside. We've got a little control panel and a sort of seating. It looks like a seating area underneath. That's quite good, and we've just put some lights in that side, so that's all right. Now we flip it over, and we've got to put the outside on. Oh no, is that another piece? Yeah, that's the other piece, I think. So that's the other side piece. So let's just grab that. We've got piece 11. Let's just make sure we've got the right one. Yep. Let's cut her out. So there's loads of different TTRPGs that are out there. They don't have to be mainstream. A friend of mine recently was talking about one called Panic at the Disco. Never heard of that before, and it's nothing to do with disco dancing either. It's like the way my friend described it was, it's like a kind of tabletop role-playing version of Street Fighter. And I thought, oh, that sounds pretty good as well. So there's loads of these sort of weird little, I guess, indie versions of tabletop role-playing games to explore. So if you like, for example, you know, randomly, there's a My Little Pony tabletop role-playing game. You know, from My Little Pony to Labyrinth to Warhammer, I mean, there is everything under the sun available in tabletop role-playing games, and that's why they're so good, and probably why they're so popular, because they cater to the masses, right? They all have their own different rule sets, but they're all very, very interesting, very, very cool. So it's very much worth having a look and sort of delving amongst the available tabletop role-playing games and seeing what is there for you, because I guarantee you that there is one there suitable for you that you would enjoy. You know, that I would fail to imagine a world where there isn't one for everybody. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Shadowrun, and then obviously talking about my friend who talked about Panic at the Disco. I recently found one that's just been released in beta. This one sounds pretty cool. Where's my phone? Because I've forgotten the name. It's called, I think it's called Skellies or something like that. Yeah, Skellies it's called, and you're a skeleton, and you're working for a lich, and basically your role in the game is just to do everything that the lich wants you to do and fulfill all his dreams and his tasks. It's quite random, but it's quite funny. But it's quite a quirky kind of setup. You know, you don't really expect to play as a skeleton, right? Working for a lich. So it's very sort of interesting, and that's the kind of cool thing again about tabletop role-playing games, is you can find all these odd, quirky games to play. So don't think you're sort of on your own and you'll never find one for you. There's always one out there. And what I like about them is there's two ways to play, right? There's the way through narrative play, so you can have so much fun playing a tabletop role-playing game just through the narrative itself, by interacting with between different characters in the game, acting as if you're that character yourself. And then you've got the other option within tabletop role-playing games, which is the outcome from dice. So if you want something to happen, you can then just ask the dungeon master or the games master if you can try to do something, and as long as he's happy with you trying to do something, he allows it, and you roll dice to see if you're successful based upon your character's skills and a sort of difficulty rating given by the games master. So it's quite a fun way to do it. I like the way that you can sort of have both aspects of play. And it also helps because you have some people that really enjoy the role playing, and then other people that just want to roll dice. They just want to roll dice and they just want to kill stuff. But you can kind of blend that in nicely together. What we're saying in chat, just remember your rubber bands to hold the chassis together after gluing. Oh yeah. Adrian's saying the Vampire, the Masquerade, it was a D10 system. Yeah. So you're also into that. Who mentioned Vampire the Masquerade earlier? Someone else mentioned that in chat. I don't know who that was, but someone did mention it. So maybe, Adrian, you could play Vampire the Masquerade with that person. Adrian plays lots of tabletop role-playing games. I hope that you don't mind me saying, Adrian, but you are a veteran in that space. When Adrian and I and some others went to Contingency, which is a tabletop role-playing week in Hunstanton in Norfolk, we played, well, Adrian got to play God knows how many different games. He absolutely smashed out the games. I unfortunately was working, so I couldn't play during the day. I could only play at night time. But by the time the night came, Adrian and the other guys had played so many games in the day, they were knackered, they didn't want to play at night. So I didn't play any games. I did play one or two at the weekend. I played Pathfinder and some others, but yeah, didn't really enjoy that Pathfinder game very much. But that's not to say that you wouldn't enjoy the Pathfinder game. It was just me on that day. I wasn't feeling it for whatever reason. Right, let's get this little bit. So we just basically mimicked what we did on the other side on this side now. So stick that in there. Lovely jubbly. Okay, so we've got our two sides done. God. Only thing when you're doing models like this and you get loads of little bits of plastic all over you. Right, let's pull over the page. Right, we're doing the inside of this one now. Oh, so this is the joining of the two bits. So we've got the two bits here, and now we're going to join them together. In holy matrimony. So we need two parts for that. We need part 7 and part 2. Let's have a look here. Parts 7 and 2. 7 and 2. There's part 7. Here we go. And this is part of the fun of, model building as a whole and your army. Once you put your army together and you know that you've spent all that time, am I cutting the right bit? 2. Yes. This is the fun of building models, I think, and part of it is, or making your army, sorry, is building models. Because it gives you another sort of dimension to the game itself. There's some people that would absolutely love just building. They don't want to paint, they don't want to play, they just want to build. And you find them, like people that have got that online where they've built an army and they don't want to play the game at all. They're just selling it on because they built it and they've had enough of it. There's people that enjoy the building side, there's people that enjoy just the playing side, and there's people that enjoy the painting side. I quite happily like all three aspects, to be honest. I don't find I probably less enjoy the building than the other two, but I still like the building. Just not my favourite bit. Oh, I just clipped a bit off that I shouldn't have. Oops. Right. Oh, I've got that bit to do as well. Yeah. We should probably pause in a minute for the muscle moment, actually, because although I've been chatting away about tabletop role-playing games, we should include our muscle moment, shouldn't we? We shouldn't forget that. But when you get into the flow of this and you're trying to, do your model and get it sorted, you kind of get stuck and you don't want to stop. Who else is, when they're building their models, do they get to that point where they just don't want to stop anymore? They just want to crack on and push through. That's me, unfortunately. Righty. Okay, so we've got our 2 sections here. So that goes in there, apparently. Like that. Okay. And that goes in there. Like that. Okay, so that's that. And then this glues into here. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. There's like a little lip right at the bottom there for that and that. That's silly. Because the little lip there. Oh no, it does fit. Okay, right. So let's just run some glue along this line. It's always about testing and adjusting just before you stick the pieces together. Make sure you have a little dabble, make sure it fits properly and you know where it's going. Because sometimes, looking at these, it can be really confusing. And you look at it and you go, no, that doesn't fit there, surely. And then you go to try it and the bloody thing does. Right, where's that not going there? So you just got a little bit. Aha. Haha. There we go. Okay. So we've now got the sort of base of our ship all put together. Although that's not really that's why I've cut that too short. What a silly boy. But that's okay, because we can go through later with some putty and just fill that. That's not a drama. Just trying to cut that a little bit off, actually. There we go. Sorry, can't just out of shot whilst I do that. There we go. Okay. So don't glue the assault ramp. No, I've not glued the assault ramp, dude. Not done it at all. You've missed muscle segment. Yeah, I'm going to do that now, bro. So let's just pause that there. Let's flip over to the muscle segment. We wouldn't be minis and muscles, would we, if we didn't talk a little bit about the muscles and a little bit about fitness. So what did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about a story, really, and a story is me. And a part of my fitness journey. So, like, currently, my fitness journey is more about weights and sort of muscle building than it is about cardiovascular, but I wasn't always that way. So many moons ago, I started, whilst I was in the army, doing running cross country. So I was a lot smaller then, although I'm only small in height anyway. I was a lot smaller in terms of size, muscular. So I weighed about 72 kilograms, something like that, quite light. Used to do a lot of cross country and was very good at it. And one of the guys in the army said, oh, you should try triathlons. We've got this competition coming up, and they wanted me to basically to fill a spot. as it quite often is in the army, you get sort of voluntold about what to do. And I thought, okay, I'll give that a go. It sounds like a good laugh. And I tried triathlon for the very first time. And it sort of aligned to my fitness goals, which was good. My buddy Russ, who worked with me, he also did triathlon, so that actually made it easier for me because he knew what he was talking about. And we were quite close in terms of fitness levels. So we then said, right, okay, well, I'll start as well. And we became like training buddies. I've talked about that previously, how it's really important to have a training buddy to be able to sort of spur you on to do stuff. So we started as training buddies, and he got me into it and showed me the ropes on what to do it on triathlon, which is a swim followed by a bike followed by a run. And I did a few, and I couldn't swim to begin with. I could do breaststroke, and that was it. And in fact, all my races I was doing breaststroke, and I suddenly got the sort of bug of triathlons, and I had my own bike at this point, and yes, I was wearing that filthy spandex, looking like a madman. But I then thought, right, I'm going to set myself a new goal. And again, we've mentioned goal setting to help inspire you to push forward past the normal things. And I set myself a goal of a half Ironman. Now, a half Ironman is a 1.2 mile swim, a 56 mile bike, and a 13.1 mile run. So I thought, right, great. Oh, I'm going to do one of those. And I set myself this challenge. So training for the Ironman itself was quite a good thing to go through, because it taught me a lot about self-discipline. So training for an Ironman event is quite tough and rigorous. Even the half Ironman is quite rigorous because you've got 3 disciplines to train. So I trained for all of 3, swimming, the biking and the running. That was often once at least a day, or twice a day in most cases, with Sunday off, and Sunday was my chill day. And I did do my first half Ironman race. I chose the hardest one known on the circuit at the time, which was the UK half Ironman. 52 hills and 56 miles or something like that. It was madness, but it was really good. Did pretty alright, did okay, nothing flash. And decided, right, okay, then now I'm going to go from half Ironman to full Ironman. And I really sort of absorbed myself into the training and became really dedicated at it. And it did teach me a lot of things about, because it's such a long distance, that Ironman is now 2.4 mile swim, followed by a 112 mile bike, followed by a 26.2 mile run, all in one go. So it taught me a lot about self-discipline, self-motivation and mindset. Anything can be achieved by anyone. I mean, JPC's dropping in the chat there. Do Ironman? Oh no, Steve also runs towards gunfire. Well, no, not at all. But it's a good thing, and anyone can do it. Like, genuinely, it seems like a huge thing, but actually it's achievable by everyone and anyone. It's all up here. So I sort of set myself this goal of a full Ironman, and I started taking on board things like getting a better bike, getting some better running shoes, and started looking at my diet and concentrating on my diet, and really started to tune in my training. And I got a coach who wrote my plan for me, and it went absolutely fantastic. And the last race that I did was in Florida, and that was, I finished it in 10 hours 38. I want to say 10 hours 38. It was 2009. That was my last race. So that was ages ago, right? 2009. Adrian's saying Grizzly Tough Mudder Legion. Yeah. So I've done a few Tough Mudders. They're good fun. But yeah, so I finished it in 10 hours 38. And I finished it, and because I stuck to all my training and I stuck to my health, my food plan and all the rest of it, I even woke up hours before the event, like in the middle of the night, ate some food, went back to sleep. I did everything I could to make sure the day was right. And when the day came for this big event, for my last race at Ironman level, I finished 38th in my age group, 10 hours 38, I think it was, 48, 38, one of the two. 36th in my age group, and I felt fine. I finished this huge race, like all of that anxiety and worry about it, but actually because I stuck to my plan and I was disciplined, it was fine. When I was in the swim, I was just counting every sort of stroke that I was doing. On the bike, I stayed to the right speed. On the run, I stayed to a heart rate, and it was perfect. And I finished the race, and I felt like I could have gone faster. I was like, oh, this is fantastic, brilliant. So it was really, really good. It's taught me a lot about being mentally tough, managing your time, and managing life around training for this big event. My favourite triathlon event out of all of them I've done, from Bournemouth, Weymouth to, Ironman abroad. The favourite one was Florida. And I think the best part about that was the fact that the Americans do an event really well. So they shut all the roads down, there was cars honking, and the cops were going down the line like just chest poking people, telling them to shut up because there was a race going on. And I finished the race. I came through the sort of tape at the end, and straight away someone comes up to you and puts a space blanket around you. They walk you to an area with all your goodies. They take all the goodies off you, and they let you stand there for your photo. They then put all the space blanket and give you your goodies. They walk you around to the food tent. There's a massage. Oh my God, massage tent, food tent. The guys are walking in with Domino's pizzas stacked up higher than you could believe. Like, must have been 20 stacks high. The setup was brilliant. In comparison to UK Ironman, they were kind of a letdown. I'm going back a few years, but it was bloody amazing in America. So I could highly recommend, if anyone had any sort of aspirations to do that kind of thing, go to America. It's very, very good. So how has it sort of training for Ironman then affected me later when I'm not doing Ironman training anymore? I think it's all about mindset. What's Adrian saying here? Run to your ability, let other race past and knacker yourself out. Yeah, 100%. You're only running to yourself. You're only beating yourself. That, like, people... I'm not a pro athlete, so, pro athletes are doing it in like 7 hours, 8 hours or something ridiculous. I'm no pro, but I just ran to my own... I was just challenging myself, so running to my own targets. And that's what Adrian is saying there, run to your ability. But now I think by achieving an Ironman, it's knowing what you can put your body through and achieve and finish it and still feel okay. And you think, God, I've done all of that. Now I know I can go and run. I'm pretty slow now, but if I go and run on the South Downs, I know that I can run and run and run. I just get tired. I'm not as fast as what I was. I have this switch in my head that I think, hey, I'm 25 years of age again. And I go hurtling off, and then I'm puffing out, looking like the old fat man running across the top of a hill. So it's never quite good. But would I do another one, I guess, is the next question. I don't think I would do another Ironman. If I was to do something like that again, it would probably be a deca or a double Ironman. So it's like a double the distance or 10 times the distance. Just because it would be a really crazy achievement to do that. So if I was going to go back and do one, that is what I'd probably do. Anyway, let's go back down to our model building. Sorry for the rant on my experience in Ironman, but if you've got any questions about that, if you've got any questions about fitness at all, drop it in the chat, let me know. Just take a swig myself. Righty, okay. So we got the hole starting to come together now. Yeah, I haven't glued that, so that's good. That's just stuck in place. What we got now? That. Let's just place that there. We need part 30. Okay, let's find part 30. I think that's this side. I think that's this one here, this big piece. Cool. Oh, man. The only thing when they put big pieces in here, they have a lot of attachments, so you have to cut a lot of bits off the sprue, which is fine, but it then means you've got to shave them all down, and there's loads of bits to bloody shave down. That's the bit I hate about building, is the shaving down of the bloody bits where it did join the sprue. I hate that. So I've got 30, part 1 and part 12. Part 1 is this part. So let's get that off. Part 1 and part 12. So I need another little ramp. That's not on there. I think that's it there. Part 12. There we go. Get that off. Once you get into the zone of these as well, you get kind of zoned in, it's quite quick. But this is the bit that I hate. It's taking off all these bloody little bits here. It really does annoy me. But, you know, out of everything, it's not that bad. There we go. Yeah, so we talked about tabletop role-playing games. Is anyone playing any tabletop role-playing games at the moment? I'm currently not playing anything. So I'm not playing with Tactical Advanced Game. I'm not playing my homebrew game because I finished that off. I'm currently playing no tabletop role-playing games. And I do kind of miss it. It is giving me time to do other things. But I do miss them because they are fun. Sitting around a table with your friends. And this is the main thing I want to put across to anyone here that hasn't played a tabletop role-playing game. Sitting across from your friends, making up a story essentially together, having a laugh about it is bloody brilliant. You know, my first ever experience of Dungeons and Dragons was running a game for a group of friends who had also never played before. And, you know, some of them weren't really interested in it, but they came along anyway. And it was just really lovely just to play with your mates. You know, just to play a game with your mates. You know, no expectations, no pressure or anything, just to have a laugh. And it was really, really good. And it's you know, you miss all of that. Like my latest game that I was playing with my buddies. Now we're not playing. Every Thursday my alarm for playing D&D goes off, and I'm like, oh man, I miss the group. Where are the guys? Because they all used to come around here. They would sit around this table I'm sat at now, and we would all play Dungeons and Dragons together, and it was bloody good. So bringing together people, it's really nice. So, you know, look out for your local games. There's plenty of them knocking about. Are you waiting for the Monday game from Johnny Propulsion with your Bugbear Bard? Yeah, I might do, Adrian. I might hop in and just have a go, or, you know, drop in occasionally. I'm just not sure if I can commit to a full-time game just yet, but you know, it's a possibility. I might bring along the Bugbear Bard. But it's a good laugh anyway. It's a good laugh. And you should all try it. There's plenty of people out there that are playing games and have games open. I would say the US is a little bit more open about it than the UK. It seems to be easier to find a game there. Weirdly. Like when I was out on a work trip in the US, I went and played D&D in the evening. Just with a random group. It was bloody brilliant. There seems to be a lot more people playing it in the US, but the UK still plays a lot. There's still a lot of people playing, so don't let that put you off. Sometimes I hate these bloody little bits. They're so frustrating. They are so frustrating. They just put too many on as well. Like seriously, they're all around the edge of this little piece that I'm cutting up now, right? And on the back piece of this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 noggins that I've got to cut off. Why would they do 4 across the back? Stupid! They could have saved themselves tuppence halfpenny on the plastic there. Games Workshop, you're missing a trick. Employ me and I'll tell you how to save some money. They would love that as well. Right. Okay. That's all the bits done there. So we've got this big bit that's going to go across the top. So that is apparently the first bit to go on. So let's have a look and see how that goes and how that attaches. Does it just attach as simply as that? Yes, it does. It literally sits on the top. So remember, when we're talking about putting these together, make sure you do just do it bit by bit and just place it in and see if it fits, see if it works. Now, the conundrum we have here, peeps, is some of this inside is worthy of painting. Let's just zoom in a sec. So, Can you see, like, inside there, that little dashboard in here, right? The little details in here. That's worthy of painting, I think. Now, how much of it you'll see when it's closed, probably sod all. But, I mean, come on. I feel like I've got to paint it. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to stick on this bit here. Get that stuck in. Oh, I've just noticed there's a bit for sprue that I haven't cut out. See, this is pointless, this bit here. Absolutely pointless. Why do they put that in there? That is stupid. Absolutely stupid. Right, let's get rid of that. Why the bloody hell they put that sort of thing in there like that? Do they not know it makes more work? We don't want more work, do we? We want simple, we want easy. To a point, anyway. Although some nerds out there will be saying, no, we don't want it easy, that's what makes our hobby fun. Oh yeah, I get it, but some days you just want it simple. Right. Okay, so we've got that goes into there. That is just push fit, I believe. Okay, it's push fit, but that doesn't feel like it's going to stay on. I mean, we'll go with it, but it just doesn't feel right to me. Okay, right, we'll go with it. So we got that bit to go across here like that. So what bits do we need to glue? So we need to glue those little bits here. Just be careful if you've got your glue pot out and you've not re-lidded it, it will seal up. So you might need to burn the top, or you might need to just peel off the glue off the top just to make sure that it all fits. There we go. Getting that in there, getting that in there. I'm just throwing glue all over the place, peeps. I'm just sticking it in there. Right. All right, let's try and line it up. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that back door looks terrible. Yeah, so this is the bit here where you want your elastic bands, Adrian. I didn't grab any because I wasn't sure whether I'd be building this, but this is where you would want them. No, it doesn't have to be elastic bands. It can be anything really, as long as it's holding the model together. Generally speaking, they do clip into place quite well, but there's quite often little lips and seals that don't quite hold. So you might need to, you know, run a little bit of glue along the outside or something just to make sure that seals up proper. There we go. You can just run a finger along just to smooth that out. We are going to paint over the top anyway, so it's not a drama. Gav's on there. Whee! How you doing, Gav? Adrian said I snip those gates with clippers and then file. That's the rear access. Yes, yeah, it is the rear access one. Yeah, I don't like how it sits actually, to be honest, Adrian. It's a bit crappy. How you doing, Pell? You on there, your son? You keeping all right? Oh, I've got 4 minutes left of the stream. Okay, so we've not done too bad in putting this together. We've cut out a fair amount. It's all right. But yeah, just want to hold that there. Okay, so whilst I do that, I'm just going to switch across to here. Because I can't really glue any more at this point. Because I need to wait for this bit to bloody dry. But let's have some final thoughts. So we went through a load of tabletop role-playing games. So, you know, what is my favourite? My favourite, for quick, easy games, it's stuff like Goblin Quest. That's a really cool tabletop role-playing game. But my favourite is Dungeons and Dragons. I do love the sort of dwarves and elves and wizards and barbarians. I do love that. That really resonates well with me. So for me, that's probably my favourite tabletop role-playing game. We spoke about, in the fitness, we spoke about my experiences through doing Ironman and enjoying that. Hopefully that's been a little bit of a chat to inspire some of you. If you want to do some endurance events, Ironman is a great event to do. It's a really good goal setting. Gav is saying Fortnite is your favourite. Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah. I don't mind Fortnite. Fortnite's okay. We voted on building this gunship. What I'm probably going to do, guys, in the background is I'm going to put together a remainder of this gunship. So next session we are painting. So I'll do the rest of the build in the background. And then we can paint. I might... Ooh, do I need to paint the inside, though? Ooh, okay. Lots of things to decide. But I might paint, might build. I don't know yet. But we'll get there with the gunship. You guys voted for it, so I've chosen to build it. But it's a very cool model. And it will look very smart once it's finished on the table. We had a good old chat throughout. Always on the text begging for games. Good old Gav. Yeah, all right, pal. All right. Yeah. I think it's you, mate, that's always begging me to play. Either that or begging me to res you because you just got slotted. Although, actually, quite often I'm the one that gets slotted. But I always do the resing, though. You never res. So, sorry for going off topic there for a moment. What was I last going to say on that? Just really thank you for everyone to joining tonight. It's a pleasure to chat geek with you all as ever. We've spoken about a load of different stuff, and I want to just continue the growth of this channel. So feel free to like, follow, subscribe, turn on notifications, share this channel with others. We went down a member the other day from 113 to 112, which kind of sucked. Adrian's saying free turning turret. Yes, we will have a free turning turret on this. Well, actually, they're not turrets as such, are they? So, because you get the sort of guns down the side, guns on the front, but they will be turning. So yeah, that'll be working, mate. Yeah, like, follow, subscribe, share with your friends. Let's get the followers up. Let's get more people in the chat. I know it was a lovely evening, so probably lots of people, especially in the summertime, like to get out. But if you can and if you want to, please do drop in to Minis-N-Muscles, the only place you need to be on a Friday to talk geek, to chat, to have a laugh, and to continue to paint models and have a bit of a social group where we can explore all the worlds of geekdom. Anyway, I'm wishing you all the very, very best for the weekend. Enjoy the warm weather if you've got warm weather. If not, hey, we're in the UK. It's quite often crappy. For those of you in the US, you lucky buggers. Enjoy that sunshine. And I will see you all next week. Stay safe. Geek it up. Enjoy your weekend. And message me on the Discord if you're on the Discord. And if not, I will see you next Friday. Stay cool. See you soon.
Minis-N-Muscles, we're heroes rise. The dying world still mighty skies. Rushing air, where power we fight. Strength that breaks you, night in the night. Where the brawn meets the brawn. Just story stone. In this love imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold. Minis-N-Muscles, heart and soul. Guidance in hand and adventure, hear the dice roll. Gaming realms of muscles drawn. Together in this place where we belong. Jolting spells, casting dreams until the dawn. Leveling up and the world to follow.